Well, good afternoon, friends. Thank you for joining us today at another episode of UnBreakable Studios. And today, I am so excited. You guys, I usually do this fun introduction, but my husband's not here. But my friend is Nick, and I have been friends, oh my gosh, for about 7 years now.
Time.
Yeah, we're just reflecting on something that was so fun that we'll get into in just a moment. But today we are going to talk about something that's real exciting that we're celebrating with Nick today as she launches something that's been birthing and building and growing and anticipating in her world over the last couple of years. And she launches, guess what, guys? She launches with a force. So today we're going to learn all about what Nick has going on with Women Who Govern. But first, before we get there, Nick, please tell us a little bit about yourself, my dear.
Wow. Okay. So, most people know me from We Are Not Broken, which was a nonprofit that I founded, 7 years ago. Creative nonprofit, photography nonprofit, just really giving women a platform to share their physical and emotional scar stories. And it was my heart. And it still is my heart. But I went through something and it completely shifted where I was going and the trajectory that God had me on. So yeah, it's put that to the side. Got to tell over 500 stories. Love it. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I love Christ, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. I absolutely adore your heart, Nick. People may know you from We Are Not Broken. They may know you because you're not only that, but a phenomenal photographer. But I love, and here's where I want to start today's conversation with, and it's a journey, right? Because when I met you, you were starting We Are Not Broken. Yeah. And I was in my Mary Kay days and really focused on serving women from that capacity. In fact, we did a really fun breakthrough beauty in these chairs. Yep. Oh my gosh, right? Yeah. I mean, so many amazing parallels happen. And one thing that also happened at the same time is that you, just like myself, had to decide to be more committed to being obedient to the call of the Lord than to the commitment to the call of the world. Nick, I feel like we're in this season right now where people are truly, they feel this tug of war. They're like, I want to be a purpose-driven person. I want to step up to my full potential. But then I also have the world that knew me as so-and-so. Yeah. And what happens if I take off that hat and I'm no longer the person that everybody knew that I was? What happens if I step in, and what happens if I don't perform? Yeah. So let's talk about that journey a little bit for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the number one thread throughout whatever I have done in my life has been women driven, and it's always been to empower women. Even when I was in fitness for 25 years. And that was all about making a woman feel good. Yes, I had male clients, but it was always about making women feel good. And from that was birthed We Are Not Broken, because I got tired of hearing women beating themselves up. So that's how that was birthed. And now this is just Women Who Govern is just now another evolution of another way to serve and impact another woman. That's it. When I see a lack or when I see a void, my biggest thing is to fix it or to find a remedy for it or to find a solution to it. Yeah. And let's walk through it together as women.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I feel like everybody that I've had a chance to be blessed with to know over the last several years, and people that I look forward to getting to know, they all will have a very common thread throughout their life, right? It reminds me of Joseph. And Joseph in the Bible, he had been given this really important thread throughout his life. He was going to be a leader. He was going to be set apart. In fact, he was told through, this beautiful coat that he had a little early, maybe not, in God's infinite wisdom, right? But that he was going to be a leader. And so his thread was like that all the way through his life. And I think that if we really and truly look at life like a thread, that there is always a consistent thing. It's just whether or not were willing to move down that rope
Yeah.
and stay in alignment with it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things, Nick, a lot of things that will try to pull us away from that thread. And I remember in 2022, when you and I had a fun photo shoot together, there was something in your life that was trying to pull you off track.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked through a really dark time. You're talking about the cancer. Yeah, I was diagnosed with breast cancer 4 years ago. But I, you know what I remember from that is I remember getting the diagnosis, and then I clearly, distinctly remember hearing God say, "It is okay to be afraid, but if you stay there, you will die there."
Wow.
And from that moment on, I knew cancer was no longer an issue for me. I knew that that was going to be my Goliath. And I was going to be the David for that cancer. And I was going to cut that cancer's head off. And I was going to walk through the streets with its head.
Wow.
So and I have a huge tattoo of David and Goliath on my leg. So
wow.
I like to always remind me of that particular time in my life. Yeah. So, you know, it becomes a choice. I think it becomes as simple as a choice. You either are going to do it or you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And you move down one of those lanes.
Sure.
And I'm kind of the person that's always going to move to the lane of doing it, and I'll figure it out as I'm going.
Yeah.
You know?
So cool. I can't, I've had times where I feel like the Holy Spirit has spoken to me. But that was a very intimate conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to be afraid.
It is.
And how many times have we maybe heard, or maybe have you heard, that it's not okay to be afraid?
Oh man. You know, I don't think we give people permission, and we don't give ourselves permission to walk through the emotions that are natural to humanity. We don't give the permission to do that. And the second that we give that permission to do that, oh my, there's so much freedom in it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's super powerful. I remember, actually, I remember when you shared that story with me, but just hearing it today and seeing what's happened since then is so cool. You know, and one of the things that you made a decision to do a couple of years ago was to go back to school. Now, here we are. You've overcome cancer. You have really established yourself as this phenomenal photographer with amazing talent, a speaker with an amazing voice, right? And now you have this unction or God wink to go back to school. And that must have required a super large dose of courage at that place too.
It really did. And not only that, a super amount of faith, because I tried for a long time to make my way back to We Are Not Broken. And because that was my heart, that was my passion. And I'm like, I'm going to get over this and I'm going to go right back, you know, because We Are Not Broken is a force. It was a force of its own. It was established and built and powerful, but I could not make my way back to it as hard as I tried. So what I did was I just started to pray, and I just asked God, if you don't want me back there, what do you want me to do? Because I know you didn't save me and clear me and cure me from cancer to do nothing. I'm pretty sure you didn't. Right. You know, you still have a work within me to do.
Right. So, and then just think about too, how many of your stories that you shared in your book, We Are Not Broken, how many of those stories had to do with overcoming adversity like cancer?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
So I'm sure somewhere in your mind, there was this feeling that, okay, this is just another thing that says I'm supposed to be doing. We are not broken, right?
Yeah.
But you recognized something else in your spirit.
Yeah. I'm pretty in tune with, you know, my gut, my instinct, my Holy Spirit vibe. I'm really in tune with that. Yeah. So I just remember hearing God tell me, you know, hey, go somewhere where you feel the smallest. I want you to go get in a position where you feel the absolute smallest. And for me, that place is a beach. Because if you look out, if you stand on a beach and you look out to the vastness of the ocean, you feel about that small. So I'm like, okay, I've never been to a Texas beach. And I said to Rick, hey, baby, can you take me to the beach today or tomorrow? And he happened to be off. So we got in. It was my first time at Texas beach. And I got out and I went to where the ocean come up to my feet. And I heard God say, you're going back to school. And I automatically thought I was going to law school. But that was a huge step of faith to say, okay, this is something completely different. I'm also 55 years old. I also have a bachelor's degree from when I was very young, which does not translate to this country. So I was literally going back to the beginning, which is very humbling, when you feel established and you feel like you've checked the boxes and you've done everything you do in your youth. But no, I was like, okay, Lord, I'll go back to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And when you went back to school, as you said, you really felt like the trajectory was law.
yeah.
And in fact, I remember a conversation that we had, and I was thinking in my mind as I was growing this organization, great, I'm going to have an attorney on my team, right?
A lot of people said that too.
And you're the best because everything you do, Nick, comes to the standard of excellence. Like everything is measured to excellence, and it's so beautiful. But something shifted there. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I was going through the program, and one, I put myself on a timeline, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm 55. I don't have time to do 2 years to get this degree. I don't have time to do 3 years to get this. So I'm like, 3 years, I'll have 3 degrees. So I did my paralegal. So that's the route I went. I'm like, paralegal, obvious route to law school. I did it in 12 months, but the last 4 months you have to do an internship. It's part of this your schooling. And I did an internship at Williamson County Attorney's Office. I met some amazing people. I'm very good friends with some judges there, so I have some really good people. But for me, I was like, absolutely not. I have no desire to be a lawyer after doing this internship.
Wow.
It was a very good, powerful eye opener for me. Sure. So it closed that door completely.
Sometimes I wish that more people were required to do internships because we go through the motions and then we feel stuck, right? Yeah. Well, I already made a decision. I've already committed. I've already done all this work. So whether I'm content or not, whether I believe in the cause or not, I'm committed. So I guess I'm stuck. Yeah. But you're not one that settles.
No, never.
Which is admirable, incredibly admirable.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So tell us, again, I'm sure it was these feelings that you had in your spirit that just said, yeah, this isn't what I envisioned, or maybe this isn't where I feel like God's leading me. So, Nick, what did it cause you to start to do?
Search. It caused me to start to search and really go within. Yeah. What is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you? What is it that's going to get you up and out and doing things? What is it that's going to make massive change? Yeah. Where can you affect the biggest change?
Right.
And my family dynamic had changed. We had transitions, to other things. So I have a very, very dear friend who's in municipal government, and I'd watched her go from not being in municipal government to running for office, to running for a higher office. And a wonderful, wonderful person. But I also know a lot of people in that world. So I started exploring that world. I changed my major to public administration, and I just started to explore that world. I started to get involved. I started to go shadow. I started to go meet people. I started to go and do civic leadership programs. And I was excited. And I was driven, and I'm like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. And so I don't want to jump ahead too far, but today is a very important day.
Yes.
But before we go there, tell me, as you are a visionary, and I know you are, and you see the big picture many times, and it's so beautiful. When you look at what you're building right now, and you look at this infrastructure, and you look at what's missing and what maybe caused that little bit of stomach acid for you, and all of those things, when you look at the world in its completion with Women Who Govern, what does that look like?
Oh, that looks like women in leadership. It looks like women in office that is comparable to her male counterpart in equality. Because right now the scales are tipped enormously. I mean, there's a 20 to 80% ratio. Wow. So it makes it go from here to here. And now we're on equal footing. There's nothing wrong with men. I love men. I have an amazing husband. I have sons. I have brothers. I love men. However, women can lead.
Yeah.
Women do lead.
Right.
And women need to be in these positions more.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, so I envision this as the roadmap, the platform for women to do it. Not only that, for employees to come through Women Who Govern and take the women who go through this program, who go and have this as their platform.
Sure.
You know, it's so much bigger than me.
Yeah. And that's how movements start.
Yeah.
Is when the founder realizes, hey, what I'm creating is not just with my name on it anymore, but it's something so much bigger that's going to impact generations.
Yes. Right. And I initially built it for me because I had all these tabs open trying to pull on all these resources so that when I graduate, you know, yes, I have 30 years of business experience behind me.
Right.
Some of that will translate to municipal government. A lot of it won't. But if I'm going to spend 3 years getting the degree, I want to come out and be very competitive for positions. I don't want to come out with a degree and say, oh, you're not hireable because you don't have 5 years of experience.
Right.
With this program, you can pull in the resources, get the experience and graduate and go into those positions. But not only that, it's not just for a student. It's for somebody who's mid-career and somebody who's advanced career, somebody who wants to shift or pivot. They're in a different career and they want to go into municipal government, or somebody that's already in municipal government and wants to go into a different department, maybe into a director role.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now I want to hear the framework. Okay. I know you've been putting these pieces together, and today is the official launch date.
It is. Yes. Women Who Govern.
That is so beautiful. And it's been so fun to just watch and to sit back and say, okay, what is she doing? I know it's going to be excellent. What is she doing? I know it's going to be excellent. So you get to hear now today. Tell us, what does this look like? If I am a woman who is thinking about going into any type of civic service, right? Yes. And I want to get involved. I want to be a change agent. I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines and hoping and praying that somebody else who I hope has my best interest actually shows up in that way. What is step one?
So step one, you join the platform, whichever membership you want. Right now we have the founding member, which gives you everything. So let's say you get in, it gives you every single resource you need for a leadership role within municipal government. Not only that, there's a run for office track. So let's say you want to run for office. It walks you through running for office. It gives you all the resources. What's great about the platform is dynamic. It updates every 24 hours. So there's a municipal news feed on there, which will update for every single department.
Wow.
Every single department that you might want to go into within municipal government, you will toggle on that, and it will give you every resource, whether it's state or your nationwide. Because I beta tested this in 3 different states because it's a nationwide platform. It's not just specific to Texas.
Wow.
So you can go in there, put your state, and it will populate everything for your state. It will ask you pointed questions, what you want, and then it will develop a career roadmap for you.
Wow.
You can upload your resume, which will be held in a database as a talent intelligent network. So as the database grows, employees will come and you can be hired straight from Women Who Govern.
Wow.
Also, you can develop your resume within it. As you're going through the steps there to get that dopamine hit, there is you earn badges. So those badges will upload automatically to your resume.
Yeah.
Hey, you've just completed this. Hey, we've done a shadowing log. Hey, we've just did an internship. All that is within the platform.
Wow.
It's so integrated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even half of what's involved. It's curated. It is every single resource you need. And the great thing is I have an amazing mentor who beta tested it for me, who was in that world, was one of the first city managers of Greenville, Texas, over 30 years ago. Is a pioneer for women in these positions.
Wow.
So
that's so exciting.
Yeah.
So I think about, how many people who, just like you, just like myself, who they have we all have a purpose, number one.
Yes.
and they have a vision for what it could look like, but they're just lost. One of the scriptures that I think about often that was spoken prophetically was that we see through a glass darkly and then face to face. Like we kind of see what's available, but we can't see it clearly because we don't have the resources, because we haven't had the experiences. And I feel like this movement that you're creating is such a beautiful opportunity to help women specifically to step into that mirror, to step into that glass that feels dark, and to have a clear path.
Yeah. And I think also a big motivator for me too is to go into schools and to go into colleges and to speak to these young women and say, hey, listen, you can track this. It's not taught in schools.
Right.
You might take a government class, but what is that government class for? This stuff is not taught. If you teach these young women at that stage, and they're coming out and they're like, I know what I want to do. I want to lead a city. I know what I want to do. I want to be on the forefront of economic development within my city. I want to affect change within my city.
Right.
I want to be on the planning and zoning, directorship.
Right. Right.
Then we get more women in these positions. We get more women leading. We get more women in elected office.
Right.
It changes the face of leadership.
Which I think is needed right now. When you think about the aspect, of course, there's the dynamic approach of the site and how it's super interactive. And what about the mentorship piece of it? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So we have an executive track, which is an application only. So you can apply for the executive track, which will put you with a mentor specifically who's been in those positions for years, that will walk you through interview prep. So we have all of that. We have a salary negotiation guide on there for women, because again, the difference between a male city manager and a female city manager is sometimes $50,000 to $60,000 for the same position. Also women are getting blocked at the recruitment level. I talked to a city manager, a female city manager, and they're getting blocked. They're collecting resumes, but they're getting blocked. And those resumes are not making it to the city councils.
Wow.
So we need to change. There's a lot of change needs to happen. And I think within Women Who Govern, this is one avenue to do that.
I think it's so beautiful and powerful. Nick, there's so many people. Maybe they want to go into law school. Maybe they want to go into the medical field. Maybe whatever it is that people feel that God has placed on their heart as their imprint and impact on the world.
Yes.
But there are so many things that become discouraging, just like what you saw when you stepped into that internship role. Big picture thinking now with what you're building, how does that then impact the situation that you're feeling right now? Like, so let's say 10 years from now, Women Who Govern, thank you, is thriving. It's a nationwide program, possibly even bigger than that, because I know you and I know your speed of excellence and execution. But what do you think, when you think of big picture, how does that impact the experience that you had?
In terms of what do you?
In terms of that internship experience. If we look at, Stephen Covey always says, begin with the end in mind.
Okay.
The end goal is all of this situation, women governing, women being in leadership positions and roles. How does that impact directly to the feeling that you have, a feeling like your hands are cuffed or that you can't do the things that you would like to do in current situations?
Leadership is leadership, whether it's in municipal government, whether it's in elected office, whether it's as a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is. Leadership is leadership. And if we have the roadmap to get where we need to get from A to B, without the confusion and noise of trying to listen, the pathways are outdated and they're fragmented. That's what they are. So for me, when I find an outdated, fragmented pathway, I'm going to create a simple way to get from A to B.
Right. That's incredible. And that's what people need, because face it, we're in a time where people are so distracted, right? That from A to B, sometimes we've gotten into Facebook or something else, right? And we've totally lost focus. So the quicker you can help them get to the destination with the least resistance possible.
That's right.
Is tremendous.
And for me, I'm a living example of it, because I'm 55 years old. I'm not somebody coming up in my 20s or 30s and I have all this stuff. I can be this. I got to get there quick. I want to
Mhm.
get there quick. I don't have to. That's the
Sure.
pressure I put on myself. I want to,
Right.
you know.
That's so good. And I think too, we're truly, we always say, in the microwave generation, right? We're used to just quick results
Yeah.
and getting things done. And with the speed of technology and AI, and I'm sure that that's probably been a big help with getting
Yeah.
things connected and
Yeah.
access in people's hands a lot quicker. But you know, that expedites or creates maybe a false sense of we need to hurry, but maybe not a false
Yeah.
sense that we
Yeah.
need to hurry as well, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about, a lot of people are confused or concerned about AI a little bit. Tell us about your experience. How have you maybe utilized AI to expedite or to support this launch?
I love AI. AI is here. AI is not going away, and AI is only going to increase productivity. That's it.
Yeah.
Municipal systems are integrating AI into everything. So
Fantastic.
me as a woman and building a platform, I want women to be on the forefront of that. I'm not only leading, but leading in AI. So there's also within Women Who Govern, there's the AI track. There's AI lessons. There's an AI track in there. There's all of the resources you need for to be on the forefront and lead as a woman in AI.
Nice.
In municipal government.
Nice.
So instead of us running from it, we need to embrace it because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So learn it.
Right.
And let it do what it does. We try to complicate AI. AI is going to be AI. What you learned about AI today is null and void tomorrow.
Sure.
So you better be on the forefront of it. You better be learning it every single day.
And what do you think that looked like to you? I remember 2 years ago, it was almost 2 years ago, I had 3 different mentors, like 3 different mentors on the same day say to me, Teresa, are you using Chat GPT? Are you using AI? And I'm like, okay. My answer was kind of snooty.
Yeah.
At first. I'm like, no, I'm authentic.
Right. Yeah.
And they just all kind of laughed and said, Teresa, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Use it. And everything changed from just a mind shift and a little bit of peer pressure
Yeah.
to get out there and to use it. But Nick, I would love for you to, because a lot of people are like, all right, fine, I hear AI, but what does that mean for me in business? Because it feels to so many people very ambiguous. Like, what does that even mean?
So I was really fortunate. I have one of my closest friends is retired IBM. She's at NASA. She worked for NASA and an inventor. And back in 2022, she told me about AI. And it was just, AI has been around for a long time, but it was kind of coming out publicly. Right. And whenever that woman tells me anything, I'm like, I'm going to do it. So back in 2022, I started studying AI.
Okay.
I started really diving into AI. But AI, you're never going to take away the human aspect, right? And you don't want to. You don't. And if people get that, get around that and realize, listen, that there's always going to be a human. But take AI to enhance your business. Right. Don't take it to be your business. You don't want that because then you're eliminating the human aspect and people are still human. We're not robots. Right. Take it to enhance what you already have. And there's so many ways that you can enhance what you already have. And there's so many different platforms out there. Mm-hmm. Find the platform that works for your business and you don't have to pay for it. A lot of people are paying for it, which is, listen, these business models, they've jumped on it and said, hey, I can monetize this and I'm going to do it. That's good for their business. Sure. But you really don't need to pay for it. There's so many platforms out there. Go learn something about it. Don't get a certification. I would say you would be wasting your money because, again, what you learn today is null and void tomorrow. Sure. It's new. Right. That's how quick it's coming. Go learn about it. Go learn about legislation on it. Go learn about what the information that's being fed into it, and then have your AI learn you. Right. It's a machine learning.
It's incredible. I sit back and I think about where our organization has grown, and it's the speed of access to information and to be able to truly take an idea and throw it out there and build something. Yeah. And I think that that's been so cool. But, I think, again, back to that message that God downloaded on you. It's okay to be afraid, but if you stay in fear,
you'll die there.
You'll die there. And how could that apply to just everything you're putting into the world right now?
Just, it takes one step to get one step further.
Yeah.
Right? You just take one step. It's not scary to take one step. Yeah. If you're thinking of fear and you're thinking of somewhere out here,
sure,
then it looks scary. But if you're thinking in terms of take one step,
yeah, one
step will get you further and closer than you were the step behind you, right?
Absolutely.
So that's how I deal with fear. And listen, I don't think you get more fearful than cancer, especially when you've had a sister that's passed away from it. Sure. And that many people that you know have passed away with the exact same diagnosis you had, same stage, same grade, but they're no longer here and you are.
Right.
Right? So you know you're on this earth for something.
Absolutely.
Not that they weren't.
Right.
Let me make that clear, but that's how I have to look past the fear.
That's beautiful. Wow. Yeah, I think there's so much that we could go into just on that, but today I know we're celebrating something very incredible for you and a courageous step that you took, right?
Thank you.
Again, I think of, how challenging it can be for some people to take that first step. And, if we are conditioned to believe that the first step has to be a giant leap and our feet are only this big, that can be scary.
Yeah.
But your first step wasn't building women who govern.
Nope.
It was just being obedient to a download that said, go to school.
Yeah.
And actually before that, get small.
Yes, get small so you can hear.
Yeah.
If you get small and you turn the noise off, you can hear. But for me, building it for myself, because I had so many tabs open. I'm taking 6 classes a semester, every semester. I'm still a mother. I'm still a grandmother. I'm still a wife, So 6 classes, and then you build it for yourself so that you can close all the tabs. And then you're like, this is just so much bigger than me. If I'm going through this, and I'm in school, what about a career woman who wants to, shift careers and she's got 3 little kids? My kids are all out the house.
Right.
Or a woman that wants to pivot and all these tabs are open. Let's just make it easy.
Yeah. I'm going to go to a metaphor for a minute. So metaphorically speaking, we talked about getting quiet, getting still, turning down the noise. And we talked about having 6 tabs open. Right?
Yeah, a lot. I'm in 6 classes with 50 tabs open.
Yes. But I think, Nick, there's a real message behind that, right? Sometimes all of those things aren't what's actually getting you where you're supposed to go. Right. Sometimes it's chunking it back. Sometimes it's deleting a couple of tabs. And I know that in order for you to get where you're at today, you had to say no to a lot of things.
Yes.
And that's scary.
Yes.
Talk to us about that, because I know that, listen, you're a very desired speaker. You're a amazing artist. There are so many wonderful gifts that are in you. I'm sure people, and then you tell people you're going to law school. I'm sure everybody is pulling at you and would love to just be in your space. But to just say, I've got to stop.
Yeah. It was difficult. It was very hard because I was getting offers and I was getting lots of money offers, and I was getting lots of those kind of things. And then also being a creative, I was getting all these ideas, hey, you could do this. But I taught myself this phrase: just because you can does not mean you should. And every time I got an idea or I got an offer, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And it was very difficult at first till I found my groove. And then when I found my groove, it was like, some people got offended. Some people got offended that I would say no, or they would take it personally. And I would always have to be like, look, this is not personal. I have to do this.
Right.
And what's crazy is I just went to my first networking event last week, and somebody who I knew from Boss Babes said, welcome back to the world. And I thought, okay, I did my job. I did a good thing. Yeah. I did quiet the noise. I did shut it out. Yeah. And when I walked across that stage in December and got my degree, you know, I was like, I did it. I did this and I was able to do it. And if I could do it, anybody can do it, you know.
Powerful.
So, yeah.
And imagine if you would have said yes to all those other things.
Oh, yeah, I'd be crazy. Yeah. I'd be crazy. I'd be all over the place, you know. Yeah.
But instead, you have an intention. And, you know, because it's women who govern, I'm going to speak about a man who governed for just a moment. His name was Nehemiah.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, it tells a very cool story. In fact, I'm writing a book about this called the Nehemiah Blueprint.
Oh, awesome.
And it's a journey of kingdom entrepreneurship. But, you know, his story is very reflective, like a mirror to yours. God placed a strong burden on his heart, right? And then in order to move, he got still. He had to get so still. He had to, you know, literally spend time in prayer and fasting. Yeah. And he didn't tell anybody what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, how many times I have so many times gone out and said, let me tell you what I'm going to do.
Yes.
Probably for external validation, just to see if other people thought I was crazy as I thought I was.
Yeah.
But when we do that so many times, other people's opinions or beliefs or limiting beliefs or failures from past will maybe not intentionally, but unintentionally rob that mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I think you can do some of the best work in silence.
Yeah.
I remember just over last year, I'd be like, hey, listen, I'm building in silence. I'm building in silence. I'm just building. What do you do? I'm just building in silence. I'm just being obedient. You know.
And here we are.
Yeah. And I'm still in school. I've got, you know, I'll graduate again this December. Wow. And I'll start graduate school in January and I'll graduate next December.
But as you're building, and this is what I love, you know, again, back to Nehemiah, there was a time in the book of Nehemiah was he's building, he literally has a shovel in one hand and a sword in the other. And in that book, he's saying, and people are telling him, hey, Nehemiah, you need to come down. People want to meet with you. They want to talk to you. And he says, I can't come down. I'm doing a good work. But he had a shovel in one hand and a sword in the other. He had to fight off enemies at the same time, continue building what he's building. And, you know, when you talk about this, I can see that Nehemiah spirit like rise up in you as a phenomenal builder who, by the way, when he was finished building the wall, he became the governor.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, have you set your eyes on an office?
You know, I can't even tell you. I had a sitting county judge ask me to run for a specific office. I have had somebody reach out to me and ask me if I'm going to run for mayor. I have no intention of running for elected office. Zero. My goal is to be a city manager of a small to mid-sized Texas city.
Okay.
And whether I do that for 6 months or 1 year, as long as I get to that position, it doesn't matter because that's my goal. Wow. And I will do it.
Yes. Yes, you will.
Yeah, I will do it. And I will lead the city and I will lead the city for its people. You know, because I think what better person than somebody who's an entrepreneur who can see a vision and take the vision of the people and make it come true.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and all of the experience that you have, Nick, and all of the trials and the triumphs and the willingness and the lessons learned just make you the perfect candidate.
Yeah. And, you know, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it. I actually had somebody tell me that I will never get hired because I'm too old and I've aged out of the system and nobody will ever hire me. Recently. And I said, okay. You know, all that does is fuel.
Absolutely.
That fuels the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, all I can think about is small-minded people don't make things happen.
I just think we're our own worst enemy. And I could go down the rabbit hole of women on women, stuff like that.
Sure.
But I'm not going to.
No.
You know, because I put it like this. You just don't know.
Right.
One, you just don't know me. And two, you just don't know.
Right.
And what you don't know, you don't know.
Right. You're right. And it is a sad thing, but that I think, Nick, is why you've always been led to support women.
Yeah.
to show them that so much more can be accomplished
Yes.
when you support them than when you tear them down.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's a big day.
Yes.
It is the launch. Tell us a little bit more about, okay, what does this look like? How can people be founding members? What does that mean? And what's next?
So really, I got up at 4 o'clock this morning and I emailed everyone that was on the wait list, and I said, here's your founding member code. Go in, join, and you'll have that for life as long as you have an active membership.
Wow.
So there's still the first 100.
Okay.
So when we get to 100, it will shut off.
Okay.
So I don't know where it's at right now because I haven't gone in and looked, because I'd be anxious for nothing.
Sure.
You know,
That's
and
right.
in all things give prayer and praise. And so, yeah.
Wow.
Once it gets to 100, it's done. But then the memberships are so cheap. They're like $29, $47, $59. That's it. Or you can pay annually and get it even cheaper. You know.
What an incredible investment in not only people's own future, but the future generations behind them, right? Corruption doesn't stop, but it can be tackled, right? And we can rise up leaders and rise up community leaders in different official positions that can make change, right? We may not be able to do anything about who's in there today, but we can equip the people for tomorrow. Right?
Yeah. And a big motivator for me is to give back. You know, so from this platform, there will be a huge give back.
Awesome.
You know, because somebody came and gave me something that I'll never forget. And I want to be able to do that for small nonprofits. So small nonprofits are going to be a huge part of Women Who Govern.
Nice.
And that's all I'm going to say on it.
Okay. Okay. Well, stay tuned then, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Nick, it has been a joy to know you and to watch your journey and to just know that this is the beginning of something so big, so grand, and so generational changing that I'm honored to be able to be sitting here with you today on launch day, knowing that the sky is the limit, my friend.
Thank you. I so appreciate that it's you and that this happened today. And, you know, we have some great memories and some more to come.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Oh, you're so welcome, Nick. Thank you. Well, friends, thank you for joining us today. You know, how exciting is it to know that in each and every one of us, there is a seed of greatness. And, you know, maybe that message that God spoke to Nick just a few years ago, that it's okay to be afraid. But if you stay there, well, we don't have to say the rest of it. You know how it is. But the real cool thing is that you don't have to do your life's journey alone. There are community leaders out there just like Nick and so many others that want to walk that journey with you. So if leading a government position is something that has been stirring in your heart, I encourage you to go today and to get into that founding membership of Women Who Govern, and also share this with a friend. You never know who could use this encouragement and just this story today. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to learn and to listen. And until we see you next time, keep building your UnBreakable.